Hi everyone, welcome to the second meeting of the TOEFL preparation course. Welcome back. And in this meeting, we will talk about structure questions for skills 1 to 6. And this PowerPoint is prepared based on the Longman Introduction course for TOEFL textbook. Okay, first of all, let me explain a little bit about the section, which is the second section of the TOEFL test, and it consists of 40 questions. Well, some tests may be longer if it is intended for piloting project for the next TOEFL test. Okay, so basically this section is divided into two parts, which the first one is structure, and it comprises question 1 to 15. And in this part, you will be asked to fill in the blank with the best answer. Okay, so there are 15 questions for this part, and the second part is written expression, and it comprises question 16 to 14. And in this part, you will have to choose the underlined word or group of words that is not correct. So basically, you try to find the word or group of words that make the sentence becomes incorrect. Okay, and for this section, the second section of the TOEFL test, you only have 25 minutes to finish all the 40 questions. So you have to be aware of the time management. Okay, so let's take a look at the general strategies for this part or the section of the test. The first one is be familiar with the direction. It is because if you are familiar with the direction before you do the test, then you will not be bothered to find out what you should do during the test. You already know what to do, so it saves your time to think or to focus more on answering the question. The second is begin the question from 1 through 15, because these are generally or usually the easiest questions in the test. And then continue with question 16 through 40. Later, if you have time, you can or you should or you may return to question 11 through 15. This is usually what is told to test takers, because you are expected to answer question 1 through 10 well already. So if you have time, you can try to make sure that question 11 through 15 are answered correctly, because as I told you previously, question 1 through 15 are usually the easiest questions in the test. And you should never leave any answers blank on your answer sheet, because there is no penalty in the test, in the TOEFL, in the test of uh, English as foreign language. So even though you answer the question incorrectly, you will not your score will not be reduced. So make sure that you answer all the questions in the test. All right, after we talk about the general strategies, let's talk about specifically the strategies for the structure questions. The first strategy is study the sentence. It means that you need to determine what is needed to complete the sentence correctly. Find out what is missing from the sentence first, whether it is a subject or the verb or the object. So find out what's missing from the sentence. And then study each answer based on how well it completes the sentence. You can first eliminate answers that do not complete the sentence correctly. So you will be left with, well, probably only two options. And then you make sure which one is the best answer to fill in the blank. Do not try to eliminate incorrect answers by looking only at the answers or the choices. you need to take a look at the sentence. Yeah, the incorrect answers are generally incorrect only when used to complete the sentence. So you need to really pay attention on the sentence and find out what's missing from the sentence, and then find the best answer to fill in the blank. Again, never leave any answers blank. There is no penalty, so just fill in every question. And then do not spend too much time on the structure questions. Be sure to leave adequate time for the written expression questions. So make sure that you do not spend too much time on one or two particular questions. If you find a question difficult for you to answer, leave it first. Go to the next question. Then you can return again to that question after you finish doing all the questions. Okay. All right. So we will start from sentences with one clause, and it covers skills 1 to 4. Skill 1, subject and verbs. So whenever you do TOEFL test, always remember that all sentences in English should have one subject and one verb at least. So when you read the questions or the sentences in the questions, make sure that you find the subject and the verb. If the subject is missing, then the answer should be the subject. So you need to find subject in the multiple choices. But if you think that this sentence miss a verb, then you need to find a verb in the multiple choices. Then the most common types of problems in the structure section concerning subject and verbs. So sometimes you find the sentence is missing either the subject or the verb, or both the subject and the verb. Or sometimes the sentence has an extra subject or verb. So you need to add extra connectors and also extra subject and verb. Yeah. So at first, when you read the questions, then make sure you know that the sentence miss either the subject or the object or both. Okay, so this one is an example of the TOEFL test question. So here is the sentence, and what you need to find out is what the sentence is missing. So you see, it starts with blank and then was ringing. Now you know that was ringing is a verb, okay, a verb phrase. So the sentence already has a verb, but it doesn't have a subject. So you need to find a subject for the sentence. Which one is the best answer? Which is a subject for the sentence. Okay, you can eliminate the incorrect answers first if you want. Loudly. Loudly is not a noun, so it cannot be a subject. While in the morning is also not a noun. It is a prepositional phrase, so it cannot be a subject either. So the answer should be D or C. Yeah, because are these ones are noun phrase. Okay, so but which one is correct? Now, again, you should also see the subject and verb agreement. So in English, you know that if the subject is singular, so the verb should be the verb for singular. And if the subject is plural, then the verb should be the verb for plural. For example, she is singular, then the verb is. If you use they is plural, so the verb is are. Okay, so this one here, there is was, which is for singular. So which one is the answer? Right, the answer is the phone, because the phone is singular. Okay, that's how you identify or you analyze a question in a TOEFL test. Let's take a look at the sample number 2. Newspaper, blah, 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 every morning and every evening. Okay, newspapers is a subject, right? And is there any verb there in the sentence? No, the sentence is missing a verb. Okay, so which one is the correct answer for this sentence? Okay, the answer is B. You're right, because are delivered is verb phrase, while the others are not a verb. So should be the answer should be B. Newspapers are delivered every morning and every evening. Let's take a look at sample number 3. The plane, blah, 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 landing at the airport in 5 minutes. So we have the subject, the plane, and a blank, and then landing. Can we take landing as a verb? Okay, you have to remember that present participles or gerund cannot stand alone, or verb ing, yeah, cannot stand alone as a verb. It needs a helping verb. It needs either is, am, are, was, were. Okay, so this one could be a verb, but it needs the helping verb. So because it already has the subject, you cannot add another subject. A and B has subject it, so A and B are incorrect. So it is either C or D. You see, for choice C, it already have verb ing, so it cannot be is descending landing. No. So the answer is D. The plane will be landing at the airport in 5 minutes. Okay? Okay, let's take a look at skill number 2, which is objects of preposition. So what is object of prepositions? An object of a preposition is a noun or a pronoun that comes after a preposition. You know what prepositions are, right? We have in, on, at, of, to, by, behind, on, under, and etc. There are a lot of prepositions that we have in English to form a prepositional phrase. So you need a preposition and object of a preposition to form a prepositional phrase. Okay? And objects of a preposition, of course, because this is an object, then it is a noun. Therefore, sometimes if the prepositional phrase are put at the beginning of a sentence, sometimes the noun is mistaken as the subject, and of course it is not. For example, the trip to the island on Saturday will last for 3 hours. How many prepositions do we have here in a sentence? We have 3 prepositions. We have the preposition to, on, and for. Okay? And the object of the preposition is island, Saturday, and hours. Object of preposition can cause confusion because it can be mistaken for the subject of a sentence, especially as I told you before, especially if the prepositional phrase is placed at the beginning of a sentence. Okay, and you have to remember always that it is not the subject of a sentence. Let's take a look at the example. To Mike, blah, 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 was a big surprise. To Mike is a prepositional phrase with preposition to and the object of preposition Mike. So Mike here is not the subject of the sentence. Remember, Mike is not the subject. So the sentence hasn't have a subject yet. And it has the verb already, was a big surprise. So this sentence only miss the subject. So the answer, what is the answer of this question then? Right, the answer is B, the party.